Hold up. Wait a minute. Bruh. Did you hit the like button? Drop some rabbits in the chat. Let's go.
Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, hit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. If you want the tea, come see me. Rabbit hole is the place to be for real news, not fake news. Celebrity news, breaking news around the clock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock, I rock, I rock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock. Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, hit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some drop 'em, drop 'em, drop 'em, drop 'em. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop 'em, drop 'em, drop 'em, drop 'em. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. True crime is my specialty. Exposing the industry. Unsolved mysteries. Sticking to reality. Fair use commentary. Talking about cults. Trying to get results. Exploring hopes. Exploring, researching, debunking, investigating, being nosy, super nosy, being messy, being shady. Rabbit hole news. That's me, the chick with ADHD, unmedicated but quite educated. Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, hit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some drop 'em, drop 'em, drop 'em, drop 'em. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop 'em, drop 'em, drop 'em, drop 'em. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Hit that like, hit that like. Let's go, let's go. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Now, do I sound worse or what? Hold up. Make sure I got everything fixed here. Do I sound worse or what? Let me know, because I literally think that I'm getting there. My sinuses are still crazy. Yes, they are. Shout out to everybody. Welcome. You got your lawn chair? Do you have your flannel shirt? That's the question. Because I told you I got my flannels, okay? I got my flannels. Let me stop. Not my flannels. I still feel very, very crappy, just so people are aware. But I'm glad that I sound better for some, at least for some. You said didn't sound like you yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was completely off. You got your flannels? More than one? I realize that I really need to up my flannel. Like, I don't have a whole lot of flannels in the closet, you know? You said it's settling now, going from the sinuses into your throat, pretty much. I've been on the neti pot. I have been. By the way, shout out to my boo Sylvia, who I don't know if she's here yet. She got me. I didn't know that there was a medicine. Okay, put a one in the chat if you knew about a medicine ball. When I heard about that, I was like, what is a medicine ball? Apparently, Starbucks sells this thing called medicine balls. And I guess it's just like a bunch of herbal teas all into one. And I will say that it completely cleared my stomach. I was like, oh my God, it's a lot of tea. Tea does that to me. So I have to be careful with how much tea I consume. But yeah, so definitely shout out to Sylvia. Abram, I have not received the stuff, just to let you know. I went this weekend and it was a different package. It was actually from Belen. So just a heads up. I'll still keep an eye on yours. Just a heads up. Yes. You said, as a gay woman, I have my flannels and I also have extra for whoever needs one. Gotcha. I need to up my flannel collection, apparently. I do. So shout out to everybody. You got your Banfield flannel shirt on? Oh my goodness. I've never heard of that. So apparently Starbucks does this thing where it's actually called the honey citrus mint tea. And so they mix a lot of different teas or whatever. It's got lemon and stuff like that. Yeah. But they call it the medicine ball. So Sylvia was like, you need to get yourself a medicine ball. I'm like, what is that? And apparently that's what it is. So thank you, Sylvia. I had one this morning, and it's actually working, but it also Just saying, I'm like, I'm that kind of person that's very sensitive to the stomach about tea, and it'll like definitely get you. Oh yes, I'm definitely sweating. It made me sweat, that's for sure. Okay, thank you. It just makes you sweat. Okay, so shout out to everybody. So I want us to start first of all. There's a lot of speculation going on. Okay, I want to start right there. First of all, like per usual, like every true crime case, there's always a lot of speculation, right? So this is Matt Thibodeau, and I think that's how you say his last name. Shout out to him. So he's actually pretty big on TikTok. He's also here on YouTube. So I watched this video and I was like, I didn't even think about the people that were detained during the SWAT, right? He said something here, and apparently when TikTok does true crime, I mean, they're on 10. Like they're like that's a whole different monster of true crime. Okay. They go above and beyond true crime. Sometimes you're like, y'all are doing too much kind of true crime. But they do, they're always kind of ahead of a lot of people on YouTube. And so I tend to watch them every once in a while. I do have a TikTok channel. I'm not very, like, I need to be more active. I still have to figure out the setup because of how TikTok is and the kind of app that it is. But, anyways, so this is what they found. Listen, let's get into this.
Last night, we found out that the DNA that authorities got back when it comes to the Nancy Guthrie case has not been entered into CODIS yet. Now, I was doing some research last night. Putting DNA into CODIS right away is not something that authorities typically do. It takes time for processing and verification. It takes time to ensure that the sample is uncontaminated and quantified. Essentially, there's standards that need to be met. And if authorities feel like this DNA sample could actually lead them to the person that they are going to arrest, then they need to adhere to strict guidelines so that there are not any issues when it comes to this person in the courtroom being tried.
So the DNA thing is a big thing. I know people are like, how come, where are we at with the DNA? And I guess there's a very specific process. I'm not familiar with it, so there's that.
Sounds of it, it seems like law enforcement is pretty confident when they put this DNA into CODIS, they are going to get a person's identity back, which would indicate that whoever took Nancy and may have done something to her has a criminal record in the past. Now, it was reported last night that the FBI has went into several different GUN stores and pawn shops in the Tucson, Arizona area. Apparently, they have photos of about 40 people, and they're showing them to these employees to see if they recognize ever selling any weapons to them. The fact that authorities may feel like a GUN is involved in all of this is a little concerning, not gonna lie. We also did find out that there was a Crossroads of the West 2026 GUN show that took place in Tucson, Arizona on January 10th and 11th, 2026, just a couple of weeks before Nancy was last seen. Now, unlike GUN stores where they have to do a background check and do all of this stuff before you purchase a weapon, at these shows, there are private sellers that do not require you to have a background check conducted on you before you purchase a weapon. So it's possible that this weapon could have been purchased at this show by a private seller. Now, we're getting some more information when it comes to the people who were detained the other night in connection to Nancy Guthrie's case. Based on what I'm hearing, more than 3 people were detained, and a couple of them, while initially released after.
This is where it gets, I was like, what? Listen, my head's still spinning on this, and I've received other messages about this. Sit down with your flannel in your folding chair and listen to what he says here.
Being detained for questioning may still be considered persons of interest here. The first individual being this person right here, Lucas Daly, who was the person that was detained during a traffic stop while driving this Range Rover that he allegedly purchased on 1/23/2026 from MG Motors. Luke Daly has a plethora of past charges of.
So that was his Range Rover. And we got a face in there, right? It's been plastered all over. Keep listening.
DRUG trafficking, as well as being in possession of weapons that he should not have. Here's some of his report right here with charges dating back to 2017. And then we have Kayla Noel Day, his girlfriend, who was also someone that was detained the other night for questioning in connection to Nancy's case. Kayla is a tattoo artist who has been arrested with Luke Daly in the past pertaining to DRUG trafficking as well as weapons. Last year, when Luke and Kayla were both arrested with one another, it states in their arrest warrant that they had a backpack, and in that backpack was stuff that they were selling for money. She is allegedly
a backpack and stuff that they were selling for money. Okay, keep going.
niece of Nancy Guthrie, and as you can
She is the niece. This is what he's saying. She is allegedly the niece of Nancy Guthrie. Hold up.
the niece of Nancy Guthrie, and as you can see off of her social media pages, as a tattoo artist, she has plenty of access to black gloves. Now, according to public record, Kayla was actually arrested on February 12th, 2026 at approximately 11 p.m. It looks like she's being held without bond, and according to what authorities are saying, the current charges that she's facing does not have to do with Nancy. So I'm wondering if she is currently being held for other charges as they await probable cause to charge her for charges pertaining to Nancy.
Okay, like maybe something not related, unrelated, and everything, and they're holding her. And so is what I didn't understand is, are they saying that she was one of the ones detained during the raids? That's where I was like lost. I'm like, how do we go from here? Now, mind you, I get it. I got family, my family, everybody done something, criminal history, whatever it is. Everybody's got something going on in their background. But if she was detained and she is the niece, that's crazy work. But it goes further. Hold up.
Or if these are just two completely separate incidents. A lot of people do seem to think that Luke Daly does very closely resemble the masked individual standing at Nancy's front door. But why would the two of them want to do something to Nancy? Is it possible that the rumors circulating by news reporters the other day that this was a burglary gone wrong actually true? Or is it possible that the person sending these ransom emails suggesting that Nancy was taken south of the border to Mexico true? It does seem like Luke Daly does have connections to people directly in Mexico. We just don't know right now. I keep going back to the other day when a source close to this investigation allegedly told a reporter that authorities know who this person is standing at Nancy's front door masked up. Is it possible that this is Luke Daly? And remember the other day as well, it was reported that a source close to this investigation found out that Savannah's recent IG video was a plea to a female with knowledge about her mom's disappearance. Was Savannah
How did they determine that? So when Savannah was doing this last video, she was talking to a female? I'd have to go listen. Like, what gave them that? And also, how do they determine that that's their niece? Like, how? That's a great question. That's kind of where I'm at. How did we determine? You said it's been debunked. Well, they're treating it like it's today news. I mean, literally. So I don't know who debunked it. Let me know. But like, also, what connection did they show to say that this is what they have? How did they determine they were related? And please know, the sheriff said family and everybody's been cleared, right? I mean, TikTok is on some other, I do want to know though, how did they determine what? But let me keep going.
talking to Kayla? I guess time will tell. What do you guys think about all of this? Let me know in the comments. And of course, as more information comes out, I will be sure to keep you guys updated.
So,
Hey guys.
So was she detained or not? This is what I don't understand. Was she one of the ones? And you said Nerdy Attic was the one that debunked it. I haven't seen that. I have not seen that. So let me know. I'll have to check Nerdy Attic's video then.
Then we have Kayla Noel Day, his girlfriend, who was also someone that was detained the other night for questioning in connection to Nancy's case. Kayla is a tattoo artist who has been arrested with Luke Daly in the past pertaining to DRUG trafficking as well as weapons. Last year when Luke and Kayla were both arrested with...
So she happened to be detained, one of the ones that was detained too? I don't know how I feel about this. But then again, they're not really saying anything. You said Kayla is in jail, no bond? I don't know, man. You said, do you think that they're going to announce the CODIS? Well, apparently, hold up. Let me shout out. Ooh, I lost my tab. Tom Stanfield, thank you so much for this. TMZ just posted update regarding testing the glove. Okay, we're going to go. I already pulled it. Thank you so much, Tom, for this super chat. Hold up, y'all. Let's go over here real quick.
We have some developments in the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping case. First of all, the testing of that glove, the DNA testing in Florida is complete. Now, that doesn't answer the questions about whose DNA is it and are they connected to this kidnapping? Because under federal law, the glove has to be tested in the state where the glove is found. That is the requirement that the FBI has before they can put it in the CODIS system. CODIS is Combined DNA Intake System. That has 27 million DNA profiles. And in order to check out the DNA in that system, in the CODIS system, the glove has to be tested in the state where it was found, and that is Arizona. That glove, we're told, is in Arizona right now. This is called a PCR test. It's the most sophisticated DNA test. It's the gold standard. Usually takes just a day to get the results.
Okay, hold up. So, wait a minute. Help me understand this real quick. He said that they can't they don't know if it's a match yet. I'm trying to understand this. Hold up, y'all.
Because under federal
Hold up. Let's
the
go back.
DNA testing in Florida is complete. Now, that doesn't answer the questions about whose DNA is it and are they connected to this kidnapping? Because under federal law, the glove has to be tested in the state where the glove is found. That is the requirement that the FBI has before they can put it in the CODIS system. CODIS is Combined DNA Intake System. That has 27 million DNA profiles. And in order to check out the DNA in that system, in the CODIS system, the glove has to be tested in the state where it was found, and that is Arizona. That glove, we're told, is in Arizona right now. This is called a PCR test. It's
Okay.
the most sophisticated DNA
So
test.
it has to be tested in the state that it was found. So then why was it taken to Florida? But okay, maybe technology, that's what it sounds like.
It's the gold standard. Usually takes just a day to get the results. We are told that in the next 24 hours, once that glove is tested and the results are in, that profile will go into the CODIS system. So that should be resolved within 24 hours and maybe sooner. Now, we are also told, and I think this is really interesting, that the glove that was tested is not the glove that the New York Post found. It is a different glove. So up to this point, everybody, and really us included, we assumed that was the glove. We are now told by people connected to this, it is not the glove. It is a different glove that authorities found 2 miles from Nancy's house.
All right.
Now, something else that we have learned. There are stories out there that gun shops have been given around 40 names of people that the FBI wanted to check to see if people bought a certain type of gun, namely the gun that was in the holster of the presumed kidnapper. We told you this is a semi-automatic handgun. So what we found out is that they have already checked out the holster to see who has bought a similar holster in that area. And the names that were given to the gun shops are people who actually bought that type of holster. And it's not like those people are all people of interest, but what they want to find is, did somebody both buy a holster like that and buy a gun like that? And then all of a sudden, they're going to be real interested in that person.
Oh my God. It's like, oh wow, I don't know. Maybe I'm just still very congested because it's like I hear what he's saying, but it's like land the plane. Okay, hold up.
So that is why the FBI is checking out gun shops in that area. Final thing I want to say is that the man who has been sending us emails demanding to know, demanding money in return for information leading to the identity of the kidnapper and the location of Nancy Guthrie. We have received now numerous letters from this person. We are not going to talk about this person anymore.
Oh my goodness.
Because if I tell you that he sent us another letter but didn't give us the information, and I keep telling you he sent us another letter and
Yes.
another letter,
Yes.
then suddenly when I stop, everybody's going to figure out, oh, he must have finally given the information, and that could screw up the investigation, because that information is going to go immediately to the FBI, and then they're going to do their thing. So by definition, if we keep saying we got another one, we got another one, we got another one, and all of a sudden we say we're not going to talk, you're going to figure out that means he just gave it up, and it could
Yeah.
then tip off the kidnapper. So
Did it really take this long for people to understand that? Like, I'm like, what? Isn't that what we've been trying to say? Hello. Hence why we've been saying the FBI should really take over. We don't need to know all this. Like, we're hearing it because we have to, but we don't need to, though, right? Like, it took you the fourth letter to figure this out. Guys, breaking news. Tomorrow there's going to be another letter. Email. Okay? For the person that was defending Harvey yesterday, or TMZ, I was like, what are we doing? This is what I'm talking about. So now he figured it out. Okay, cool. Yeah.
we're not going to say anything more, unless and until we get that information and pass it on to the FBI. And at some point, then we will let you know. And also, that creates a public record for the person who would give us this information, that it could lead to the kidnapper and therefore entitle them to the reward. So radio silence on that front, but there is movement. And, I will say one other thing, that I spoke to a law enforcement source today who said that this is gumshoe detective work right now, that
My
they are
God.
just chasing down every possible lead they can, to try and find the kidnapper and Nancy Guthrie. But right now, they don't have a straight line to a suspect or even person of interest.
Oh.
But when this DNA profile is done, maybe they will. And when this gun is possibly located where somebody purchased it and matches the holster, that could be a hot lead. But for now, it is
Nothing.
gumshoe detective work. have-
Lord have mercy, y'all. Okay. Shout out to the person that just emailed me. I need to show you this. I am subscribed. How come it says I'm not? Oh, I guess I had the payment part. Okay, sorry. Nerdy Addict says the woman who was the girlfriend of the man associated with the SWAT raid on Friday and who was with them during the 2025 arrest was booked into jail one day before the raid after her bail was revoked in December. It feels significant, like investigators may have an informant. Okay. So there's that. Lord. So people looking into, I think her name is Kayla. Somebody said any truth that she's Nancy's niece. We have not found the link to that. So people are, unless one thing that Matt doesn't do in the video, and maybe that might be helpful, is how did they determine that she is a niece? And based on this, it doesn't really sound like it might be related to, her in terms of the arrest. Let's see. The woman who was booked and who many are claiming is related to Guthrie's has no connection to the family beyond having a similar name. They also do not appear to be friends or connected to Nancy on social media. And that was yesterday. Shout out to Nerdy Addict. So why are we saying that there's a connection there? Everybody, there's a lot of people that are sending me stuff. How do they determine the connection? That's the question that I have. I don't know, man. You said, Rabbit, if the person is not even from Arizona, what if they bought the clothes, gloves, and masks, gun in another state? Potentially. Anything is possible. Like I said, they could have got it from Goodwill. It didn't have to be a Walmart. There's a lot to this. You said Harvey stick to interviewing folks on the People's Court. That's funny. Rabbit, in Harvey's defense, he seems to be having a lot of, you said, moments and living his dream of being an the FBI agent while he could. Well, Harvey has had a pretty good career. I may not be a fan of everything that he does, but he's had a pretty good career. I'll say that. He's been involved in a lot of stuff. I mean, for TMZ is well known and everything in so many areas. So, do I like TMZ? I think TMZ is the devil sometimes. I mean, they be doing too much. I think you have to sell your soul to work for TMZ. That's for sure. I don't think I could be that. Mm-mm. Especially with what they did with Kobe Bryant's death. I mean, there's just so many stories that TMZ has. Like I said, you got to sell your soul to the devil to work for TMZ, and that's just not me. They could have gotten the bag of charity to the shop. That's right, they could have. Let's see. You said he will not tell us about the letters from the snitch, but will if the actual ransomer sent him another letter asking for the money. I didn't understand that at all. You said Harvey needs to get on Pima Sheriff's sailboat and go off into the sunset. Yo, I mean, listen, I know. Shout out to don't be listen, Soul Power Terror. Shout out to my senior citizens. All right. Shout out to my beautiful, wonderful seniors. My wonderful abuelitos y abuelitas. Shout out to everybody. I didn't say Soul Power said that. I just read it. We got a lot of beautiful people here from different ages. Shout out to them. You said I kind of liked Harvey in his younger days before TMZ. I did too. If you kind of see him, but like I said, you got to sell your soul to the devil to work for TMZ, and I just don't want to do that. I don't know how you can. So then the question becomes is because that wasn't the only thing. I was sent a lot of other stuff. How did people linked relatives and how do they determine? And then we can't have it two ways. They're either related or they're not. Right? And I didn't even know Guthrie was a common name. Here's another one that was sent to me as well. Let me show it to you. Like I said, this was 21 hours ago. Credit to this person, but like I said, I don't know if I believe. I think we need to review this with discretion. And people need to understand that not everything can be accurate here. And if they said that they cleared the family, now the FBI said something different that I think we should pay attention to. But let me play this while I pull the FBI.
Hello. And guess what? I got some information for you. Okay. So this weekend, remember it was Friday the 13th? Well, they made an arrest. And this girl's name is Kayla Day. She was looked up. Her Facebook picture, her arrest picture. This is the home where her and Luke were staying. Luke was the one that was arrested or talked to or whatever this weekend, and they took his Land Rover or his Range Rover, whichever one it was. So at his house, he had a blue Dodge Charger that was covered up by a blue tarp. So today, the towing people came and took that car. Also, they've had security sitting in front of their house every day since then, and today there's no security there. Anyway, Luke and Kayla are boyfriend-girlfriend. Kayla was arrested on the 12th. Then the next day, the 13th, was whenever they raided the house and they had the SWAT team and all that stuff.
So she's saying that she was arrested the day before. And Nerdy Attic is saying the woman who was the girlfriend of the man associated with the SWAT raid Friday, who was with them during the 2025 arrest, was booked into jail one day before the raid after her bail was revoked in December. That's right. So that's exactly what the TikToker is saying. Shout out to the TikToker too. It feels significant, like investigators may have an informant. Now, when did he post this? This was at 2:17 yesterday. But then he also said at 2:53 p.m. yesterday, the woman who was booked and who many are claiming is related to the Guthries has no connection to the family beyond having a similar name. Now, Black Economist is saying you got about 30,000 people with the same, with Guthrie as a last name. So keep that in mind. They also do not appear to be friends or connected to Nancy on social media. So this might just be somebody who happens to have the same last name. That's it. You just Googled it, did you? That's interesting. Yeah, I like her Southern accent. Southern accents, I mean, shout out to the people with the Southern accent. I think they're always like, I don't know, they're cute, Cute Southern accent.
Thinking that maybe Kayla snitched so that she wouldn't have to spend as much time. She got in trouble. Both of them got in trouble in 2025 for the sale and distributing of narcotics. Guess where they got caught? In the parking lot of the Tucson Walmart. same place the backpack, the jacket, and the flashlight came from. So anyway, they've towed this Charger. They're taking it in to look at it. We've went around and looked at all the impounds. The Land Rover or the Range Rover, whichever one it was, is nowhere to be found. Okay? Here's the big deal. Kayla is related to the Guthries. Evidently, her mother possibly is related to Nancy.
You know what? The problem that I have with that, though, is how did they determine that she was related? Because you got somebody else is saying that they're not related. So which one is it? Are they related or are they not?
Also, today, a neighbor spoke out and said that the neighborhood that she was in, she felt like was the safest neighborhood. And she said, I don't think that it has to do, I don't think it's what people think. She said, I think it has a lot to do with the Epstein files coming out. And he said, you are the first person that has said that. That's not true because I've been saying that. Anyway, that's the first person that come out and said that. And then he was like, you are the first person that has said that. You do know that you're live and there's 35,000 people watching. And she was like, oh, well, and kind of act startled like, and then talked to
Everybody shops at Walmart, though. As much as I hate Walmart, but Walmart is very convenient. You're right. It's too much. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I believe. And like I said, I kind of believe that maybe they just have the same last name. We have yet to see somebody to act like, yeah, I'm going to need like a genealogy, a tree, something that would link them outside of having the same last name.
for seconds and then walked off. This was like a neighbor walking her dog. Anyway, the plot thickens. That's some good juice right there, though. That's some good juice. And I forgot to tell y'all this morning, I just want to throw this in. You know how the term everybody says now, I'm on bounce when they're fixing to leave? When they're getting up and going somewhere, I'm on bounce. Let's bounce. Bounce is a term that the witches use. And what bounce means is there's supposedly a silver cord. I don't know if it's in like, they're trying to say like an umbilical cord or whatever. I went and read the scripture. I don't really see it as what they're talking about, but it's supposedly when the person comes out of their body and then they try to bounce back into their body and they can't get back in. Anyway, we won't be saying that no more. No more.
Okay, the witches have entered the chat. Literally, I'm good. I will actually shop at Walmart online. I hate Walmart. I really do. Okay, well, that I guess this is like from there. It's just a theory at this point. That's kind of where we're at. Thoughts, opinion, thoughts and opinions. Let me know. What do y'all think? What do you all think? Because I don't know. She said something about a cord, a bungee cord. What happened? What happened with the cord? I'm not too familiar with that saying. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to pull something else up. You said nothing. It's a nothing burger. Oh my God. Y'all are so funny. Y'all are so funny. Okay. So let me remove this real quick. Let's get into, I was trying to see. Okay. We did that one. Oh, did I not pull up? Hold up. Yeah, I got to pull the link. Let's pull the link. Guys, do me a favor, hit the like button, please. As we are collecting links here real quick. Push the like. Thank you. Let me show you another report because we're talking about the DNA and this is the topic that we're at right now. So the FBI, based on the local reporter who reported who had an inside source, just in, I asked the FBI if their agency agrees with and can confirm Pima County Sheriff's Department elimination of the Guthrie family, including siblings and spouses, as suspects in Nancy's abduction, attributable to an FBI spokesperson. The FBI, and I quote, the FBI doesn't have anything to add to that. That is what they've said. To what, Pima put out there. The FBI doesn't have anything to say. Thoughts, opinions. So they don't have anything to say. They don't have anything to add. What does that mean when the FBI doesn't have? The FBI doesn't have anything to add to that. Is that what does that mean? Chassis, you said, oh, are you talking about me or are you talking about the girl on the video? Shout out to Chassis. He's like, Bob's doesn't have anything to do with what you said. The way I understand it is that it means I'm out of here. That's what I heard too. I've said, all right, guys, I gotta bounce. I gotta go. I gotta bounce. I've never heard it being expressed that way, but maybe, maybe it's a thing in the South. I don't know. I gotta bounce. You said they pled the fifth. That means you think that they're hiding something? It doesn't really say, right, Cammy? I feel like it says they don't agree or disagree. They just don't add anything to it. That's it. That's what they're saying. They're not adding any more to it other than what they've put out, which I think would make sense. Like, why would you want them to add more to it at this point? Another thing to note is that the FBI entered the house one day after the Pima County Sheriff's Department because they wanted to independently process the crime scene. Didn't they send the DNA samples off to their own labs? I understand people are concerned about the perceived delay using the Florida lab, but nothing stopped the FBI from collecting their own samples and sending them to their own lab. They would have 2 independent chains of custody. That would suck, though. Do you really want that? Shouldn't those results be back and put into CODIS by now? Or did they not process DNA and decided to rely on the Florida lab? This is what SF is asking publicly. Another thing also, let me show you guys independent reporter. Well, no, excuse me. She looks like she's from a network. So let's see what she has.
Where DNA Labs International has their offices. It's right here in. Hey guys, Laura Engel here. I'm in Deerfield Beach, Florida, and it just so happens that I'm in Florida this week, so I had to take a quick ride and show you where DNA Labs International has their offices. It's right here in this building here behind me. This is where the really important work is being done in the Nancy Guthrie case, where it begins. So we've been hearing a lot about why didn't the DNA evidence go right to the FBI in Quantico? It's a system. Right. So the Pima County Sheriff has told News Nation and other outlets that the reason that it came here is because this is a lab that's tucked in this building here behind me, because this is a lab that they've been using for years and years in criminal investigations. Right. So while they're not able to comment on the case right now, and for obvious reasons, I spoke to Susanna Ryan, and she is a lab director at another independent lab that works on DNA evidence. And she really had a great explanation of how this usually works.
Lena, where is your source? Where did you hear that it's not a match? Let me know, Lena. Where did you hear that? I saw another comment like that. I just wasn't sure if we're being trolled or what. But if you have a source, let me know. Where did you guys hear that? Where did you hear that it wasn't a match? Said, girl, you asking us to get all kinds of Cash Patel FBI on this fine fat Tuesday. Oh my God, I forgot about that. Where did you hear that? TMZ, did I miss that part? Matt Finn on Twitter. I don't feel like TMZ said it. Hold up. Maybe I missed it because y'all, I am congested, but shout out to BJ who just put it in the chat. Hold up. You said Matt Finn? Do I not follow? Probably not. Here it is. Oh, this guy right here. Oh, 15 minutes. There you go. Sheriff Nanos tells Fox News that one glove, which was recovered about 2 miles away from Nancy Guthrie's home, did not match DNA in Nancy's home and also did not have a hit in CODIS. Wow. Shout out to BJ in the chat, guys. Make sure you guys check out our channel. And Brian Ensign also made a post about it. TMZ didn't say it, though. TMZ didn't say that it was not a match. They said that they sent it, and he kind of went into the process of that. But there you go. Matt Finn is saying he's with Fox News. Sheriff says that the unknown DNA in Nancy's home is different from DNA on the glove in question. Oh, my God. Oh, this was a blue shirt, but it's not even. This is from one of the canine sheriff people. Wow. Well, there's that. You said random gloves found 2 miles away. Of course, it isn't related. So it's not a hit. So now what, guys? Hey, minds, y'all. I hope you have a good day at work. Now what? No worries, Creek. I was like, TMC didn't really say anything, but so Fox News just broke. So DNA is not a match. Well, no, and then also, it doesn't Fox News own TMZ as well? It's funny, isn't it? Or is it? That's the question. I mean, they're all over the place. Fox News is always all over the place, but there's that. Hold up, guys. Hold on. Okay. Sorry. Just trying to fix this. Thank you. Sorry. And the plot thickens. Well, so the DNA does not match. Yeah, that's what we just heard too. Shout out to BJ who came in here and let us know. She said, Matt Finn, well, I should probably follow. Breaking news. Sheriff Nanos tells Fox News that one glove, which was recovered about 2 miles from Nancy's Guthrie's home, did not match DNA in Nancy's home. Also, did not have a hit in CODIS. Sheriff says that the unknown DNA in Nancy's home is different from DNA on the glove in question. There you go. I wonder if he did an interview. Hold up. Let's see. Because I think Fox had the exclusive. Fox News. And then here comes Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil with the Nancy Guthrie disappearance leaves me baffled. Go away. Fox News. Chris Nanos. You look baffled anyways. No, nothing. They haven't reported it yet. I think it's just Matt Finn who had the exclusive on the Twitter. This is insane. Mm-mm. Yeah, go sit down, Dr. Phil. Back to zero. That's all it is. You said matches visual of suspect? What do you mean, Sister Craft? Where did you get that? Visual matches what? The visual of suspect? No CODIS match? Because we're saying two different things here, aren't we? I don't know, man. I'm just like in. Are we going to find out what's going to happen here? Plot twist. What now? Whew. Sorry, guys. I felt like I was going to sneeze here for a minute. Lord have mercy. Let me move this here. Unknown DNA inside of the house. Can't do a familial DNA to figure out whose it is. Right. Well, I think that's what they did, didn't they? They would have had to have done that to rule out the other people. So let me read it again. You said girl on video, Rabbit. Okay, let me read it again. For those that are, because I'm a little congested, so I can get lost too. He said, Sheriff Nanos tells Fox News that the one glove, which was recovered about 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's house, did not match DNA in Nancy's home. Also, did not have a hit in CODIS. So we're talking about the one glove that was found 2 miles away. Okay, then he further says, Sheriff says the unknown DNA in Nancy's home is different from DNA on the glove in question. Okay? It's different from the DNA in question. You said let's make a facial composite of the house and DNA? Or I don't even know. You said if there's DNA in the house, they're trying to match. Why not put that DNA in code and see who it is? I mean, that makes sense to me, but I don't even know. Doesn't that make sense? I mean, yeah, like, huh? Yeah, there's more likely several perpetrators and not just one person responsible for this. So it doesn't shock me they couldn't find multiple DNA, right? Oh man, this is a mess and a half. So then it becomes starting all over. Now hold up. Thank you for the person that tagged me. Brian Ensign also just said DNA from the glove found did not come back with the matching CODIS. No DNA submitted to CODIS involving Nancy Guthrie investigation has come back with the match, according to the sheriff. There you go. So the sheriff has let all these journalists know what's going on. And I'm going to see if I bet you he'll probably do another interview. Let me see. He'll probably do it with Fox News. There's nothing yet. Let's see. Nancy Guthrie. DNA. Nothing. Hold up. Is this 2 minutes ago? No. No update yet, guys. I'm trying to see if they did an interview or something. Not yet. Let's do this. 5 hours ago, night. Yep, nope, nothing. Nothing yet. Yeah. Sorry, I was looking to see nothing. You said this is something's got to come up, man. Something has to come up with all this technology that we have, and we can't even get anywhere yet. This is crazy work. You said they're saying that they have to go into the FBI system, and the lab has to be in the same state the sheriff sent to Florida. That's right. That is right. So there's there's a procedural thing to this, right? And let me see that the report that I was playing that I stopped playing. Give me 1 second, y'all, while I pull it up. This is it right here. So this was 18 hours ago. This was a while ago, but she was all the way in Florida. I think she explains a little bit of the process.
Where DNA labs. Hey guys, Laura Engel here. I'm in Deerfield Beach, Florida, and it just so happens that I'm in Florida this week, so I had to take a quick ride and show you where DNA Labs International has their offices. It's right here in this building here behind me. This is where the really important work is being done in the Nancy Guthrie case, where it begins. So we've been hearing a lot about why didn't the DNA evidence go right to the FBI in Quantico. It's a system. Right. So the Pima County Sheriff has told News Nation and other outlets that the reason that it came here is because this is a lab that's tucked in this building here behind me, because this is a lab that they've been using for years and years in criminal investigations. Right. So while they're not able to comment on the case right now, and for obvious reasons, I spoke to Susanna Ryan, and she is a lab director at another independent lab that works on DNA evidence. And she really had a great explanation of how this usually works. So what happens is a private lab that's able to do this very specific type of testing to get a profile off of evidence. We're talking about the glove that's found on the side of the road. We're talking about DNA inside of Nancy Guthrie's home. So that can be brought here. They'll work on a profile. Then it can be uploaded. That information can be uploaded to the Arizona Department of Public Safety. And they don't have to fly it across the country, and it can be uploaded to a system. Then the state can actually upload it right to CODIS. So that's how that part works. And you've heard about the quality control and the timing that it takes. That's why, because it starts here, it goes to Arizona, then Arizona officials can then upload it to CODIS, or the FBI can get involved as well right away, but it just all goes through the same system.
Man.
So as you're thinking about where this is and what it looks like, I did walk up to the door. I found out it was private property and they didn't want us filming in there. So that's for obvious reasons. But here's the building, here's the street. DNA Labs International will bring you more as we get it.
Okay. That's interesting. You said, shout out to Amor who says they cleared the family, so presumably the DNA left behind would most likely be the intruders, right? But if their DNA is found inside Nancy Guthrie's house, that would tie them to the crime. That's what I would think. Um, oh man, said all crimes where DNA is tested should be entered into a nationwide database, but sadly it's not. But what if the person doesn't even have what is it called? A criminal record, which, you know, that could also be a thing too. Hold up. Let me see. What did you send me on Discord? In parts, if you want to tag me, that would be great because I don't know where you sent it. So tag me in there. Guys, hit the like button, please. And thank you. Support, share. Thank you. Are you guys ready for Ashleigh? I didn't mean to trigger the balloons. While we wait for the sheriff to, because he's going to do an interview. He'll probably do one on Fox News and talk about it. Are we ready for Ashleigh? Because I heard that Ashleigh still believes that it's the brother. Flannels on. Yes, that's true. It's a good point. Only offenders have lost the right to that privacy. That's right. Is it Vicky Lou? It's a good point. Flannels and lawn chairs on. All right. So let's move on over here. Okay. Hold up. You said yes, Flojo. I saw that already. I already reported on that. Okay, hold up, guys. Let me get this going here because I got Baby Bunny who just was dropped.
Hey everyone.
1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. You said, Flojo. Yeah, I did read that article. For those that are coming in, again, Matt Finn broke the news on Twitter. And then also who's reporting it as well is Brian Enton, that the DNA from the glove did not come back with the match in CODIS. Yeah, so we just talked about that. No DNA submitted to CODIS involving Nancy Guthrie. Now, this is straight from the sheriff's office, just so people are aware. I don't know if the sheriff has given an interview per se on this quite yet, but I think that they might have already. I don't know. You said they take the DNA before convictions. They did that to you, my son. I would think so, right? Like that's what you would think would happen. So put in one in the chat if you guys watch. This is 48 minutes. I think we can do. If you watch Ashleigh Banfield. And by the way, the reason I'm turning off because I have to blow my nose. I don't want to do it on camera and stuff like that. But we are going to react to this. Did you guys watch this yesterday? Did you guys wait for this? Let me know. You said, oh, Lori says, late and watching from the start, 1.75 during the SWAT Action 1 stream. I was watching talk to a neighbor to the house who showed the person a picture of the neighbor posing with Savannah at a it cut off at a something. There is an additional There is an additional DNA evidence that was found at the residence that is also being analyzed as badass. Okay, I'll check the let me see, because I do have Pima County here as well. Let's see what Pima has to say. Pima County. Here it is. They did post. Okay, hold up. This was 16 minutes ago. So 18 minutes. There's currently no press briefing scheduled. Should a significant development occur, a press conference will be announced. Media will be invited via the email. Okay. DNA evidence from gloves found approximately 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's residence was submitted to CODIS and produced no matches. There is additional DNA evidence that was found at the residence that is also being analyzed. So we're still, the DNA evidence is also being analyzed, okay? Just so people are aware. You said, I let AB rabbit, I let AB. Okay, so you don't have to. All right. So, yeah, let's get into this. Again, they're saying the same thing. I don't think we're like saying, they're not saying anything significant that we don't already know, guys. But let me get into this real quick, and I got to run and get some tissue while we react to this. Did you put a one in the chat if you watched this already? And if you're able to tell me already your thoughts about this is switch gears, family cleared. So she talks about this. Let's get into this.
I'm Ashleigh Banfield, and this is Drop Dead Serious. Thank you so much for being here. A lot happened today in the Nancy Guthrie investigation, and a lot didn't happen today. I got a couple of things I'm going to tell you about, very, very important, and some incredible commentary from a guy who I've had my first conversation with him, and it will not be my last. This guy is really smart. His name's Spencer Corson, former Special Deputy U.S. Marshal. This guy knows so much, and he's got some really interesting thoughts on the things that happened today. First and foremost, big story happened today. Brian Enton discovering that FBI agents have been going around to gun stores all around Tucson with dozens of photos and names. Where'd they get those names? Why those names? Why those people? Why those photos? 40 of them. I'm going to tell you the significance of that many names and that action in just a moment. Also, huge news from the Pima County Sheriff. He put out a statement today that was huge, clearing Savannah Guthrie's family, including her siblings and their spouses, which is massive because, as you'll know, early in the investigation, on day 3, my source said to me, high-level source, said to me that they have towed the sister and brother-in-law's car, and that the Nest cameras were smashed, that the back door was left open, that there was blood in the house, forced entry, and that the brother-in-law may be the prime suspect now. That was on day 3. So why is it that that may have been the focus on day 3? You're going to hear some incredible analysis as to why these investigations ebb and flow, how that is 100% possible, and how it is entirely possible it can change as well. I think you'll remember I said that. A lot of times they can change their minds depending on where the investigation takes them. But some big key factors of what happened on day 1 and day 2 that may have led to something called confirmation bias. We're going to talk about that in a minute as well. And then the DNA. Everybody's waiting on the DNA from that glove from 2 miles away. A glove that looked like the glove on the ring cam. Does it match? Does it match the DNA inside the house? Is it going to take them anywhere? Is it just someone's glove? I'm going to talk about why it's taking longer than it should and if that's such a bad thing. You might be surprised by what you hear. First and foremost, thank you so much for being a part of this podcast. Thank you so much. Would you do me a solid and subscribe? It would really help me out. I'm an independent journalist now, so it's really big if you subscribe for me. I don't think it's really hard, and it doesn't cost a cent, and it's not hard. And also, thank you to my sponsors for allowing this podcast to be possible, like Incogni. I mean, let's face it, I cover some pretty dark stuff, right? A lot of dark crimes out there, including the one we're working on. But let me tell you, some of the scariest stuff is happening quietly behind your screen. Your name and your phone and your number and your home address, all of that is floating out there online. And it isn't because you gave it away. It's because somebody sold it. Data brokers are tracking you.
Sorry, guys. I'm still looking for my freaking tissue box. I don't know where I left it. I got to find it. Let's move on from this. And I did get to hear a little bit of it, and we're going to react to it. But give me a second, guys. Let me find this tissue box. I don't want to be snotting all over here.
Holster, but it's an automatic weapon that's stuffed inside it. So they got a bit of a look at that. And what they're doing is the gumshoe stuff. Right? This is the hard work, the shoe leather detective work, to just go and ask. Maybe someone will recognize these people. But I have got a really interesting comment that's coming up about 40. Is that actually effective, or do you actually end up making it more difficult for these store owners because you're showing them so many photos? That's coming up in just a moment. Don't go anywhere, because when you hear Spencer Corson weigh in on that, you're going to give your head a shake. Also, big, huge news. The sheriff putting out a statement today, very strident statement, clearing all of the Guthrie family, the kids and their spouses, Very important. Let me read the comment of the statement word for word. It is a statement from Sheriff Chris Nanos on the Nancy Guthrie investigation. Quote, to be clear, the Guthrie family, to include all siblings and spouses, has been cleared as possible suspects in this case. The family has been nothing but cooperative and gracious and are victims in this case. To suggest otherwise is not only wrong, it is cruel. The Guthrie family are victims, plain and simple. Please, I'm begging you, the media, to honor your profession and report with some sense of compassion and professionalism. Interestingly, NBC had two sources last night that said,
So, okay. All right. Sorry, it took me a minute to get my freaking tissue. I didn't want to be all snotting all over here. I apologize. I let that play for too long. You said, will she apologize? No. I heard that she stood 10 toes like down with her fingers too. So my understanding, at least how she's explaining it, is that on day 3, she broke that news. And because on day 3, her high level source person, whatever, all the way up there, you know, he's so high, he or she is so high that they can, you know, they're up there. They know everything. On day 3, they were looking at the brother as a prime suspect. Is that possible? What do you guys think? Is it possible? I mean, the question is, did she have to put it out there? That's really what it comes out. I mean, it's possible that he was at some point, all the families might have been prime suspects at that point. But did she have to put it out there? That is the question. You say, so basically she says she was corrected at the time, but investigations has shifted. Yeah. So at the time, she was correct but if you are to believe what she's saying, she said that at the time she was correct. Okay. And yeah, that's what happened. But let me know. You said I don't trust her due to the accusation that she made. Thoughts? Today. She's not going to. She said that her source told her. I mean, you already just with how she started, you could already tell. She said that it was the 3rd day. Her high level source up there told her that it was the son-in-law was looked at as a prime suspect. She didn't need to name him. I mean, could she have just done the reporting without naming him? She should stop. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. You still believe Chris Nanos was her source? You know what? We didn't even think of that. But then Chris Nanos then like threw her under the bus at the press conference. Yeah, she should have thought of that, you know? What do you think, Abraham? What do you think? Because I know you like let me tell you something. I feel like I don't know. Like sometimes I'm like, all right, so if you're in a situation where you have exclusive information, they have not been cleared, right? And you put that out there. Did she expect the son-in-law to be arrested? Is that why she put it out there? Or did she just put it out there just to put it out there? You know? There has to be some reason. I thought it was him as well. Well, I don't know, man. If I was him, I would sue. I mean, this guy, you know, listen, I am one, I believe in First Amendment. Please note that. But you can't be putting crimes on people. You can't be lying on people, especially when there's like an active investigation. And this story literally has international coverage. You know, my highest watching group since I've been covering this has been the UK. Shout out to the UK. But if you're on here and your name is, whether it's Elizabeth Vargas, you know, or you know, Ashleigh Banfield, I would be pissed off if you said that I'm sorry, try to repair my career after that. And not only that, you're going to have the people that are just not going to believe anything, that'll only be set in their ways. So, yeah, like I'm kind of like that too. That's right. People are not protected. You're not protected. If you lie on people, if you slander, and if they're, and the thing is like, you know, all of that he's going to have to defend in court. But I don't think that there'll be an issue with that. Even if she said the word maybe, okay? That's no different than saying allegedly. Maybe allegedly, like, you have to be careful. Even if it's not for defamation, I mean, she could get him for, he could get her for, what is it? The IIED, depending on the state and stuff like that. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. So, again, the word maybe, people say it all the time, maybe, allegedly, it doesn't save you. Once it's the simple act of putting it out there without even the fact that you're unsure of the fact that you're putting it out there. I've said it every once in a while, and even then I'm like, well, shit, I hope it doesn't. But I've done it before. But it's a risk that you run. Nope, it doesn't. Doesn't protect you. Neither does maybe. So she could have said it. Because the way she said it, I remember when she said it first. She said it, and then she followed by maybe. And I said, lady, it's the simple fact that you said it in the first place. I would have waited. If there was a waiting period, she could have reported it like, guys, we're day 3 of the investigation. Typically during day 3, they look at all family members. Typically all family members are suspects when there's an investigation. Then I would have been like, oh, that makes more sense, because during an investigation, when something happens, you look at close family members or spouses or whatever, children, whatever it may be, right? That makes sense. But she didn't do it that way. She literally said, this person is a prime suspect. They're looking at him as a prime suspect. So, yeah, it's a little bit different. Thank you, Wendy. You said, also, with friends like that, you don't need enemies. There's that. Yeah. You said, thank you. If she needs to make a retraction, though, it needs to be public. And depends on the state. Sometimes, depending on the state, depending on the tort, you could, if you make a public retraction, I think you have a time frame to do it. But she's standing on her word. So is her source going to come into court and be a witness? I don't know. Yeah, she doubled down on it. So there's that. There is that. Well, class action, Tina, would be a group of people. It wouldn't necessarily, that would be like a group of people against an entity. You said, I'm wondering if Savannah's thinking the same thing. Anyways, all right, hold up, y'all. Let me hit play on this. So she went back to it again, okay? Yeah, and anyways, let me stop.
That authorities are leaning away from their original suspects in this case. Well, in order to lean away, you would have had to have leaned in. And I think it's interesting that the sheriff uses this language when, in fact, it was the sheriff's department and the FBI that towed Annie's car on day 2 or 3. I got the news on day 3, on Tuesday, after the Sunday disappearance, under a warrant, and had it processed. And then also stopped the search on day 2 and returned the scene. Said the scene is done 30 hours after the disappearance. All of that seemed very odd. And then to see all of the activity over at Annie's house, taking her mail, searching inside, searching around the property, searching the neighbors, all of these things, it stands to reason, as most law enforcement experts will tell you, people who've been in law enforcement, that is the first place you search. Is it the last? And should you lock in on it? That is the question. So my source told me that they had locked in, that he may be the prime suspect on day 3. What has changed? I said in my first podcast,
again, she's just kind of explaining it. I don't know. Yeah, they worked at Court TV together. They know each other. She called her, Ashleigh said, that's my friend. That's what she said. You said they never named a suspect. Not publicly, at least. Right? So yeah, this is a hot mess, man. It's a hot mess. Now hold up, guys. I did get there's what is going on? So Sister Craft says, by the way, we have a little bit of an update. Sheriffs has arrived on scene and a possible locksmith. Huh? Hold up. Hold up, Ashleigh. We'll come back to you. You're on pause. Give me 1 second. What? And then they said, thank you, Sister Craft. Update. Why is there a fire truck? Is there a fire? Let me go see JLR real quick. Is he still streaming? Is there a fire truck? JL. Let me see. Hold up, y'all. Why is there a fire truck? Oh, yeah, there's a locksmith there. Hold up. Oh, snap. Hold up, guys. I'm gonna show it to you guys now.
There's an additional DNA evidence that was found at the residence that is being analyzed. Interesting. Dude, it gets loud here. It's gonna be like, that's loud. Yeah. There's little fighter jets above us. Yeah. Are they on flight radar? Normally, no. Not the jets like that. Sometimes they do show up.
They're saying both.
Nope.
Hold up. Let me mute him until damn, their jets are like flying right there. There is a locksmith in a fire truck, I guess, that's on the scene. That's what we're hearing. Hold up. Why a locksmith, though?
Security.
They haven't said anything about her finances in both press conference. Like, did they check her finances? Anything unusual or anything like that? They haven't said that.
Plates.
You said it's nothing? Okay, gotcha. Chantel, thank you so much for this super sticker. Fire truck unrelated. It drove past the house. Ah, okay. Gotcha. So the fire truck is unrelated. The locksmith is not, though, right? Maybe lock damages. Yeah, maybe they're repairing that. Anyways. So I guess this is unrelated, or at least checking locksmiths and stuff like that. Let's go back to the flannel situation here. And thank you so much for supporting the channel, Chantel. Thank you. Shout out to everybody that supported. Hit the like button, please, and thank you, and share. All right, let me keep going, y'all, because I don't want to I feel like I'm losing my voice completely.
Always reserve the right to change their minds, and often do. They did with John Benet Ramsey's dad, John. They did with Ed Smart, Elizabeth Smart's father.
Okay.
They can always
hold up. Let me go back a little bit because we missed it. Here we go. Let's go here.
That they had locked in, that he may be the prime suspect on day 3. What has changed? I said in my first podcast, they always reserve the right to change their minds, and often do. They did with John Benet Ramsey's dad, John. They did with Ed Smart, Elizabeth Smart's father. They can always change their mind, and should, if the investigation takes them that way. So this could be very, very good that they're actually doing the right work. But why lock in so early? Because again, my source is airtight about that information on that Tuesday. They had locked in on one person in the Guthrie family. Why did they do that? When you hear from Spencer Corson in a moment, you will be enlightened as to what happens with certain kinds of detectives at certain phases of an investigation. And also, not going to lie, law enforcement has taken it on the chin for the last 5 years. Many folks in law enforcement have said, I'm out. Fuck this. We've been treated like garbage. And many very, very skilled and talented and experienced professionals have left the force, which then is backfilled by newer people less experienced, fewer hours on the job, maybe not the instincts, may have come into a situation early and made some assumptions. There's something called confirmation bias that Spencer's going to talk about in just a moment, and he's going to weigh on this because he's much better at it than I. But again, from day one,
it's called tunnel vision. That's what it's called, confirmation bias in law enforcement. We talked about that here as well, guys. We did.
Always said, this is where they're focused now, and they absolutely could change. And now it looks like they have. Although there are several people saying that the federal
Did
authorities
she?
are not parroting that.
Wait, I didn't even catch that. What'd she say? She said the F word? How come I didn't see it or hear it? She did? Shut up. No, she didn't. She's allowed to drop an F-bomb. Stop. Let the lady, she would, listen, right now she's having it, okay? She's got a lot of people coming for her. Let me see. Hold up, y'all. I don't see it. Where'd she drop the F word? I'll have to hear it again. Give me 1 second, guys. You said, hold up, y'all.
That same reporting. They are not clearing the same way that the sheriff is. So let's talk a little bit about the 24-hour change. That's interesting as well. Yesterday, the Daily Mail spoke to Sheriff Nanos, and he said 100% no one has been cleared. Elizabeth Vargas spoke with the sheriff on Friday, and the sheriff was even more strident than that. He said no one is cleared ever. And then I'll paraphrase this. He said, until there's someone arrested. So this is a very big turn of events in this many days. And then, of course, in just 24 hours from what the Daily Mail said. So something had to change. So I asked somebody with a lot more skill than I have in what it's like on the ground in the original investigation, the strategies, the mechanics of the investigation, and the talent that shows up at an investigation to weigh in on how things are so different today than they were at least on day 3. Here's Spencer Corson, threat management expert, founder and CEO of Corson Security Group, and former Special Deputy U.S. Marshal, weighing in on that. Have a listen.
One is it's not outside the realm of possibility to go with the person who was with her last, which if that was the brother-in-law and that was the car that he drove, they would want to at least eliminate that vehicle of any possibility. And of course, you're going to look at close friends and family because this kind of a crime typically involves some kind of a grievance. On the pathway to violence, there's several key stages. There's a grievance, there's an ideation, which is that you can do something to remedy that grievance. Then you get into the research and planning, then you get into the breach, would be breaking into her home, and then finally the attack. And who typically is engaged in intimate partner violence is intimate partners, whether that be close friends or family. It's also important to keep in mind that over the course of an investigation, that investigation is going to yield insights that could go beyond what your initial conclusion was. And this is why you don't want to get too focused on confirmation bias and believing that it was a close friend or family member, and leave the opportunity or leave the window of opportunity open to have that investigation take you where the facts lead, not where.
But the thing is like confirmation bias. I feel like it was too soon for them to even have any kind of bias at this point. Like the investigation had just started to just zero in on one person, and to even say that so-and-so is being looked at as a prime suspect. That was way too soon for her source to even tell her that, and I think that she should have known that as well. I mean, she's covered true crime before. She's not new to this. So she should know, like, well, maybe I need to step back a little bit. Yes, he is high up there, former law enforcement, whatever it may be, but still, maybe it's too soon.
Your conjecture had taken you.
So Spencer is going to weigh in on a lot more of today's reporting. And let me tell you, I love when I meet someone like him because he is in the thick. He knows his business. And when he says something, it's not just conjecture. It's based on skill and experience. So here's the rest of today's reporting. Harvey Levin got another note today. This is number 4, if you're counting, not including the original note that he got, which was from the original alleged ransom seeker that came in on Tuesday, right? Mrs. Guthrie goes missing on Saturday night, Sunday morning, and on Tuesday, the ransom requests start rolling in. How convenient, and very unlike typical ransom takers. But that first note was, give me $4 million. And if
look at the timeline that they made, this is interesting. I should take a screenshot of this. Yes, Yanni, you're right. In my opinion, Ashleigh did not say that the family member did it. She said the police are looking into the family member. Well, to be fair, she said that the son-in-law is the prime suspect, right? And there's only 2 kinds of labels that I've ever heard of. You have prime suspect, and then you have person of interest, right? And so when you say something in criminal justice, or at least from my understanding, is when you call somebody a prime suspect, is that you have literally zeroed in on that person. There's a difference between a prime suspect and a person of interest. So I think that she should have been careful with her words there. Instead of just saying that. Let me see. I'm going to pull I've pulled this before. Versus person of interest. Versus person. Hold up. There's a difference. Both, you don't want to even be called both, at least. So, I mean, unless you're a witness you're a person of interest if you're a witness. But in the media, though, they get used interchangeably. Okay, so prime suspect is an individual that investigators believe is most likely to have committed the crime based on available evidence. So she did say that he was the prime suspect, which makes it very difficult. You know what I mean? To kind of like overlook that piece, even though she didn't say that he didn't do it. The last person who saw Nancy alive, they're always first suspects in any investigation. That is correct. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll see how that goes if it does happen. And at the end of the day, nobody wants to get sued, and she's being mindful of it now. But this is her first case covering as a YouTuber, independent journalist versus under News Nation. So there's that.
If you don't give it to me by Thursday, give me $6 million by Monday. Came and went, didn't hear from them again. And then this other guy starts sending Harvey notes. First one is, I've got information. I'm prepared to sell it for a Bitcoin, 67,000 or so. The next one is, you're not taking me seriously. You should take me seriously. And that third one, I believe, was that this is the last time you'll hear from me. Apparently not. We got a fourth note. All right, let me read verbatim from the actual note that TMZ received. Quote, I saw Savannah's latest video and my heart goes out to her. It really does. But I cannot turn myself in, leaving my family unprotected and broke, especially now that I'm being hunted. I know what
This is the direct note. She's reading the note because Harvey didn't even read the entire note. My heart goes out to who? This is a criminal. And he says that my heart goes out to who? Hold up. I must have missed this. Hold up, y'all.
I'm prepared to sell it for a Bitcoin, 67,000 or so. The next one is, you're not taking me seriously. You should take me seriously. And that third one, I believe, was that this is the last time you'll hear from me. Apparently not. We got a fourth note. All right, let me read verbatim from the actual note that TMZ received. Quote, I saw Savannah's latest video and my heart goes out to her. It really does. But I cannot turn myself in, leaving my family unprotected and broke, especially now that I'm being hunted. I know what I saw 5 days ago, south of the border, and I was told to shut up. So I know who he is. And that was definitely Nancy with them. Okay. So, again, this guy's only been sending these notes to TMZ, not to the local Tucson TV stations, and not to the family. Not typical for, ransom, serious ransom, people in the business of ransom. And by the way, Spencer's going to weigh in on this as well, which is interesting. But Harvey decided to turn the tables. And I think this is interesting. He made a direct appeal saying, number one, if you didn't do this, you're committing a crime and you're in a whole world of shit. My words. You're in a lot of trouble. It's very, very illegal.
Oh, she said that. Now she says shit. Okay. I didn't even hear her say the F word, but you guys said she said it. What I don't know, man. I'm confusional on this one too. Entertaining the note that he said he was no longer going to entertain. Huh? Okay. Sorry, I got an interesting email. Let me hit play on this.
And number two, how about this? Send us the information at TMZ. We will take it to the FBI. And you will have the chain of custody that you were the person that gave them that information. And if it bears out, you will get the money because we can prove that you were the person who actually gave us the information. So checkmate? I don't know. I think it was really quick and smart. But I also think these people are full of shit. I do. I think these are, again, and I'm not the only one, people who are just capitalizing on a tragic situation and trying to extort money out of the Guthrie family. So next up is the DNA, because this has been a huge deal, right? So much has been made about the glove that was found 2 miles away from Nancy Guthrie's home, side of the road. It resembles the glove in the video. That's why it's of interest, okay?
Oh
I don't know
God.
why the FBI has zeroed so much into that particular glove, other than it looks like the one on the doorbell cam. And I'm wondering if there's more to it, because Steve Fisher, who's a private investigator in California, he zeroed in on the finger of one shot on the doorbell video of the guy with the balaclava. And it looked like there was a hole in the finger. It's hard to tell, but it kind of looks like it might be a hole. And it also happened after the suspect grabbed at the thistle or the vine and pulled it up. And maybe there was something that pricked a hole in the finger of that glove. And maybe
We don't know it. The glove is a wash at this point. So I want to again, she addressed it. She doesn't apologize about the brother son-in-law. She's not going to. She's standing on it. on her source. So it is what it is. You said reading the extortion note, she must have the well, that's what I'm saying. It's like Johnny Cochran as her Addie, because ain't no way. She literally, I don't even think TMZ read the extortion note. They read some of it, but not all of it. And now today they're saying we're not entertaining this anymore. Well, isn't that what we've been telling you not to do? That's crazy work, y'all. That's crazy work. Let's keep going.
And goes more to shooting a fish in a barrel. 40 people is not exactly a narrow, you haven't really narrowed things down at that point. I mean, you can ask somebody if they've remembered one person, maybe two, but if you start showing 40 photos to someone, they're going to get really confused as to who's who, especially if they look even remotely similar to each other.
And that's the pragmatic effect of the actual gumshoe work. But what about just the collection of having 40 different people? Do you suspect they're all people of slight interest or more interest, or might there be some extra people thrown in there like they do in a lineup?
It could be both. I think
I will say that does kind of concern me, showing 40 photos of people to see if who bought a gun or who was at their shop at whatever date or whatever it might have been. It is a little concerning that that's what they're doing. Because, you know, with the many faces that you might see, what if somebody gets wrongfully accused of something? I don't know.
Most likely is Occam's razor, right? The most simple explanation is probably the most realistic. So I think they went through their files and looked through anyone who was stopped and questioned, or any suspicious behavior, or anyone who maybe was pulled over for vagrancy or shoplifting or some kind of like frivolous crimes, who matched the height, the weight, and the description of this particular individual, pulled all those photos, took them around and said, let's start fishing.
Let's move to the other huge issue today, and that was that the Pima County Sheriff cleared the Guthrie family, the children and their spouses. And that's a big deal because early on I had reporting from a very high-level law enforcement source in that area that they had not only towed the car of the brother-in-law and sister, but that they'd also zeroed in on him. The wording they used was maybe the prime suspect now. That was all within like 48 hours of the disappearance. What do you make of that now changing completely?
One is it's not outside the realm of possibility to go with the person who was with her last, which if that was the brother-in-law and that was the car that he drove, they would want to at least eliminate that vehicle of any possibility. And of course, you're going to look at close friends and family because
that's everybody. So that, again, it could have been worded different. It could have been said, guys, you guys know in an investigation, they always look at family. The last person, she could have even said that. The last person to have seen Nancy is reportedly the son-in-law, and we have nothing else. You know, everybody is essentially, until people are ruled out, they're looking at everybody. There's a different way to have delivered that versus the way she delivered it when she said it.
As this kind of a crime typically involves some kind of a grievance. On the pathway to violence, there's several key stages. There's a grievance, there's an ideation, which is that you can do something to remedy that grievance. Then you get into the research and planning. Then you get into the breach, would be breaking into her home, and then finally the attack. And who typically is engaged in intimate partner violence is intimate partners, whether that be close friends or family. It's also important to keep in mind that over the course of an investigation, that investigation is going to yield insights that could go beyond what your initial conclusion was. And this is why you don't want to get too focused on confirmation bias and believing that it was a close friend or family member, and leave the opportunity or leave the window of opportunity open to have that investigation take you where the facts lead, not where your conjecture had taken you.
So,
and that's important. Hold up. Now, let me say something real quick. Is it Joey or is it Joy? Joy Perry, welcome to the membership. I saw your comment. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Joy, I think it's Joey or Joey, is a new member, guys. Shout out to her. She became a member last night. I saw your comments. They were very sweet of you. Thank you so much. She says, I think Pima is throwing bits out there to throw everyone off. They have real info they aren't sharing because they know we'll figure this out before Pima does. Ooh. Wouldn't be the first time when people don't share information, right? Yeah. He is kind of low-key checking her. It is Joey. Thank you, Joey. Sorry. I wasn't sure if it was, you know, the I and the E, but shout out to you. Thank you for correcting me. Yeah, he is checking her. And I'm glad that she brought confirmation bias, because you would think that it's a real thing. I think journalists should be aware of that, especially when you're reporting a story. I remember learning that in undergraduate, and, you know, there was a former law enforcement officer who was giving us examples of what that looked like when people are reporting in the media. But not only that, investigators, it's a real thing.
Talk to me about the conjecture and the confirmation bias. Do you think that might have been a play here with these detectives?
Absolutely. I think that we have a police department that
Look at the way was this a play here with these detectives, with your source? Potentially. With you? Potentially. Right?
over the past several years has lost a lot of their really key members. I think I read somewhere that the average career time of an officer in that area is about 3 years. And that is, especially if they are not used to dealing with this kind of crime, may be outside of their everyday skill set. One of the things that I'm asked to do in my work as an expert witness is differentiate between competence or incompetence and negligence. And that can really be only determined by what was known at the time.
So it's interesting you say that, because one of the former homicide detectives in the Pima County Sheriff's Department, his name is Kurt Dabb, he has been on record saying that these guys are very young and inexperienced. He's not throwing shade on them. He's just saying a lot of really good talent left. After 2020, there was this mass exodus, and it's been backfilled by younger, less experienced guys. So if you take that to the very first day when the homicide detectives showed up, tell me from your expertise what you could see playing out.
I mean, you'd really have to be there on the ground, but it's within the realm of reason that if you have a police department, a sheriff's department especially, who mostly does evictions and serves warrants and does traffic stops and does domestic violence calls, that this could be something that's completely outside of their everyday realm of experience. Yeah. And when you have people who are...
And when she says that she has somebody there working at the very high level, well, what is the one thing that everybody's been saying about Pima? The overturn is huge, and the longest that some of these detectives have been there for 4 years. So she could have had somebody for 4 years give her the tip, but he's not very experienced. I mean, two things can be correct at the same time, even though he might be up on the food chain of positions.
Operating outside of their subject matter expertise, mistakes get made.
If they had locked in on one suspect, in this case, the brother-in-law, in those first 48 hours, does it stand to reason that they would call off the search, that they would return the house to the family, and that they would tow the brother-in-law and sister's car so soon, so quickly into the investigation?
Well, I think this goes back to saying, how much experience do these officers have? You're only going to clear the house if you believe that you have gleaned all of the forensic data that you could. Once that has been cleared and turned back over to the family, because the reason you want to make sure you have all that evidence beforehand is because you don't want to recontaminate the crime scene. But if it turns out that they didn't have everything that they thought they had, or if there was some level of negligence involved in clearing that house, that could have real repercussions in impacting the outcome of the investigation.
Well, and that seems to maybe have borne out when the FBI arrived and then showed back up and put the crime scene tape back up. And since then, there have been these scattershot efforts to glean forensic information. A white tent even went up in the last few days to glean information from that front entry. It's just sort of fascinating to also...
Let me stop right here. And it was to get the height of the person, my understanding. Now I'm going to go to Nerdy Attic, and then I'm going to go to Brian Ensign because we have some new posts. So Nerdy Attic says... The absence of a press conference is only fueling public speculation, with journalists reporting conflicting information from the sheriff and their well-placed sources. These sources are a hot mess too. Let me just say that. Okay, the biggest development right now is that there's no real developments. Hold a press conference, and I don't know. I kind of don't think that they should, because what are we going to learn? It's going to be frustrating. The absence of a DNA match will likely force the Fed's hand in releasing more surveillance footage from Nancy Guthrie's home. There you go. We might get more footage. They should include any available audio and precise timestamps, because anything less only allows speculation to run rampant. I would agree. Now, hold up. Oh, huh? Sorry, my nose is driving me crazy, y'all. 7 minutes ago, which we read about the CODIS stuff, some random podcaster's DNA traveling through CODIS right now. Hold up. I guess Enton posted. JLR is documenting various apparent workers coming in and out of the property, and Nancy, a plumber, electrician, came through today. One of them is currently eating an apple while sitting in the truck. Pima County Sheriff is on scene. Well, he's got to have lunch, I guess. I don't know. Hold up. Let me see something else, because I think somebody said Enton also posted. I don't see anything from Enton yet. Let me see. Brian. Ooh. No, nothing new. We've already read Enton. So there is that. I have a feeling they're going to release more information that, because I mean, if there's nothing else, and we're still waiting on one more glove, the one that was found inside. So don't forget that, okay? You said, where's the sheriff hunting rabbits? He's out there. I don't know, y'all. Well, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. You said Enton did a short? Well, let me see before we go. My throat is killing me right now. I think I need to go take something. Because I told you guys I'm not 1000%. But let me see. Hold up. You said Brian Enton dropped something? A short? Oh, man, he's dropped a couple. I haven't even watched these. Okay, hold up, y'all. Oh.
When it comes to the Nancy Guthrie investigation, the sheriff. Hey guys, so a pretty significant update here when it comes to the Nancy Guthrie investigation. The sheriff's office confirming that they put the DNA now from the gloves that were found about 2 miles from Nancy's house into the CODIS system, which is the DNA FBI database, and that there was no matches, and that they've also put other DNA into the CODIS database related to the Nancy Guthrie investigation, and that also has not come up with a match, which is disappointing news, especially because I was hoping that maybe the DNA found inside Nancy's house might match something. And at this point, no matches. So that just came from the sheriff's office. Again, that's not what we were hoping to hear. A few other things with Nancy's pacemaker. They confirmed that they're attempting to locate the device and are working with the manufacturer and other experts to assist in that effort. Remember, I told you guys about the signal sniffer they were using. They're still working with Walmart management to identify and isolate the individual who purchased the backpack, because we know the backpack came from there. And also a new line in their latest state release about the Guthrie family. This is from the sheriff again. They say, in criminal investigations, evidence is examined to either build a case or clear individuals. At this point in the investigation, the Guthrie family, including siblings and spouses, has not been identified as suspects. So a little bit different from the statement that the sheriff put out yesterday, but essentially the same thing. So that's the latest. Again, it's kind of not the news we're hoping for when it comes to the CODIS database.
Yeah.
Hey guys, so a pretty significant update.
So they're going to have to, I guess we'll have to see if they have to release something else. You know what I mean? This was a fumble from the beginning. It's too much. Thank you. All right, guys, I got to go below my nose. TMI, but it's the truth. I'm so congested right now and I need to take something. I can feel the pressure right here. So I'm going to let you guys go. Do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button. Please share, support, do all those good things. I will see you guys maybe later. I also we're going to watch and review America's Next Top Model, the documentary on Netflix. So I still have the lawsuit that I've yet to actually get into with the contract. So that's going to be a separate video, separate topic, but keep an eye out. Hopefully I'm able to do it depending on how I feel. I will see you guys later. Thank you guys for watching and shout out to everybody that supported. Thank you guys. Bye guys.